Hi, welcome to our home bar and welcome to our YouTube channel, Wise Whiskey. I'm Tony, and today I want to do my top 10 values in whiskey. All of the bottles I'm going to go over today are under $50, at least in my area, but I didn't want to title this video Top 10 Whiskeys Under $50 because in my mind, that means I need to find 10 whiskeys in that $40 to $50 range. This is more about some different categories and the best values you can find there. So I'm going to start with some international whiskeys and then I'll move over to the American. So number one, and if you watch my channel, you've seen this bottle before, is going to be Teeling Irish Small Batch. This typically runs around $35. It's aged in rum cask. It's 46%, non-chill filtered and non-colored. It's got all the specs of a great craft Scotch or Irish whiskey. Got killer flavor profile. It's bright. It's easy drinking. It's at a price point where I don't care if it gets mixed into a cocktail. If somebody wants to do a shot with it, I really don't mind. It's a great price point. It's available all over the place, but it is just an awesome drink. It's got complexity, but in a really accessible way. It's just a fantastic gateway to just whiskey in general, I think, but also to finding a different Irish whiskey than just like Jameson or Paddy's or even Tullamore Dew, which I like, but this brings such another level for not a huge difference in price. So number one is Teeling. Then we can go to our scotches. And I've got a couple scotches I want to show you today. And again, if you watch the videos I've already done, most of these I believe I've already spoken about. But if you want to look for something that's going to be sherry forward, what are often called the space side scotches, that flavor profile, I think the best value you can get is Naked Malt. This is a blended malt scotch, meaning it's a blend of different single malts. All of these have been matured in first fill sherry cask. That means casks that were used to hold sherry wine in and have never had anything other than sherry wine in them. A lot of times with Scotch, you'll get barrels that have been used multiple times. So first fill means you're going to get more of the influence of what was in that cask. So in this case, sherry. Sherry is going to give you spiced, fruity notes, a bold but also soft flavor profile. Sometimes you get some really interesting, like darker sweet notes in there. And then this bottle in particular, Naked Malt, I find has a really interesting creaminess to it. I've had several people who say they don't like Scotch try this one and think it's very good. It's also typically under $30, so it's a great price point. Another blended malt Scotch, but this time going in a unique direction, is the Compass Box Orchard House. 46%, non-chill filtered, no color added, and the name is everything with this. It's orchard fruit. It's fresh skin on an apricot, peach. It is just extreme orchard fruit forward flavor. All the specs of a great craft whiskey. Again, I think this is a Scotch that a lot of people who would consider themselves non-Scotch drinkers would probably love. It's available all the time for under $50. Just a killer bottle. If you are fruit forward, if you like bright orchard fruit flavor notes, this is going to blow you away. And then lastly on the Scotch side, also a blended malt Scotch, is going to be McLean Nose. 46%, non-chill filtered, no color added, I believe. Adelphi Distillery is the main blending house for this. That's who makes Ardnamurchan, which is one of the most respected and up-and-coming craft distilleries in Scotland. Just a slightly peated, great blend of flavors here. Great chance to get into peated Scotch and to get into some of that island style that I love. Some of my favorite bottles to sip on right now are from that island region. Just get this great mix of flavor profiles from that region, and you start to get into peat without it being overly intense. McLean's Nose, typically under $30 as well. So as you can see, there is a little bit of a pattern there where the Scotches are all blended malts. What's nice about blended malt, you're typically looking at better flavor, better quality, better complexity than a regular blended Scotch. Not all the time, but typically. But you get some incredible quality whiskey just at a better price point. Blended malts are some of the best values you're going to find in Scotch whiskey. So now, moving over to American whiskeys. I kind of broke these down into categories as well. So there may be more than one brand in each category that I recommend for this. But the idea is in different categories within American whiskey, what are some of the best values? So for me, first I have, this is my well whiskey section over here. So I've got well whiskeys for a lot of different categories. And when it comes to well bourbon, I love Buffalo Trace. In particular, I love Buffalo Trace in a cocktail called a Gold Rush. It's just bourbon, lemon, and honey. God, it's so good, especially in the spring and summer. Gold Rushes are kind of my go-to happy hour cocktail, one of my go-to cocktails at home. And I just happen to love the way that Buffalo Trace tastes in a Gold Rush. I also think that Buffalo Trace is just a really nice well bourbon that's a name that people recognize and are, happy to have if they're a guest. So I typically keep Buffalo Trace as my well. But a slightly even better value than that is going to be your bottled and bond bourbons. So when you think the classic kind of flagship old school distilleries, the legacy distilleries, a lot of them have a bottled and bond option for a very affordable price. Evan Williams and Old Grandad, I think, are two of the best. And those are going to typically be under $20 for a bottle. But the nice thing about being bottled and bond, you know that you're getting a whiskey that's at least 4 years old and that's at 100 proof. Most well whiskeys or bottom shelf whiskeys are going to be 2 years old and are going to be 80 proof. So you're getting a little more age and you're getting a little more proof. It stands up great in cocktails. It doesn't taste significantly different if someone comes over and wants to mix it with Sprite or Coke. You don't spend enough on the bottle. I mean, it's $1 or $2 more than the regular Evan Williams or the regular Old Grandad for twice as much age and for more proof. It's great on its own neat if in a pinch. I mean, they're just the bottled and bond bourbons in that price range, I think, are probably one of the best values you can still get. And it's really a legacy thing. It's a big historic part of bourbon. It was a Food Safety Act to guarantee quality, passed in 1897, where the government bonded warehouses. I brought this up in another video, Understanding Whiskey Labels. There's just some cool history to it. So they're fun to keep around. The one thing I will say is if you do have friends that are used to drinking like a regular Jack and Coke, regular Jim Beam and Coke, and you're pouring bonded bourbon for them, just remind them that the proof's a little higher because those drinks can sneak up a little faster than they're used to. And on the flip side of that, within that same kind of bucket, Old Overholt and Rittenhouse are two legacy bottled and bond ryes you can use for your well as well. In fact, once this Sazerac rye bottle I have is used up, I'll probably switch to Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse rye is a fantastic product. I believe it's still around $25 to $27 in most places. But again, 4 years old, 100 proof, great for Manhattans and old fashions and other rye cocktails. So then from here, I've got a couple of bourbons that I just think are really good quality, proof level, age, everything for the price they're at. So the first one I'm going to tell you is Knob Creek, 9-year-old bourbon, slightly different flavor profile than a lot of the other Jim Beam bourbons. Honestly, probably my favorite from the Beam portfolio. I don't have a lot of Beam brands on the shelf. I do have a Knob Creek 12 up there, which I love. Think it's a great pour. But regular Knob Creek, it's 9 years old. It's 100 proof for typically, $30, sometimes even less than that. A lot of times less than that. Just a killer bottle. You really can't beat it as just an everyday drinker. And you get that little extra proof, 9 years of age, hard to beat. And in that same mold, the Russell's Reserve 10-year. 10 years old, age stated, over 90 proof, and is from Wild Turkey. So once again, legacy distillery putting out something that's got some age to it and some value. So if you're looking for an everyday bourbon, want something that you don't feel bad if someone mixes it, but you do like to sip yours neat more often or just on the rocks, do some cocktail stuff with it, but not a ton. It's hard to beat Knob Creek or Russell's Reserve 10. Honestly, I think it comes down to probably which one you like more. I tend to like Knob Creek a little better than Russell's Reserve 10, but it's totally up to your profile. So then, kind of stepping outside of these for a minute, outside of bourbon, I want to talk about rye. And what I think is a fantastic bottle to get in your rye collection is Michter's. It's $45. It's fantastic product, and it's single barrel. So every bottle of rye is a single barrel. To get a great, consistently good single barrel at 45 bucks. I love the bottle and branding. I'm just a big fan of Michter's. I think they make awesome stuff. Yeah, I think that if you're going to have a rye on the shelf and you want to spend a little bit more than like a Rittenhouse, I think Michter's is a great bottle, and it falls under that $50 level. And I think it's hard to go wrong. I also want to call out that Michter's has their American whiskey, which is aged in their ex-bourbon barrels, meaning it's their bourbon, but then they age it in ex-bourbon barrels instead of new oak. So they can't legally call it bourbon anymore. I think it's just a little bit sweeter, richer version of their regular bourbon, which is already a nice, sweet, and rich bourbon. Love the American whiskey. And they do a sour mash whiskey I really like. It has a unique creaminess to it. So really the whole Michter's lineup, the fact that they've got 4 different styles, all at that $45 price range, that they're doing some unique stuff, different than a lot of the other American distillers. I'm just a big fan of their product, and think they're a great value. So then at number 9, I wanted to talk about cask strength, because when we start to get into cask strength whiskeys, you know, it's kind of like when people in craft beer got really into hops. Just like you start trying to go the higher IBUs with hops, as you build your palate and start getting in, people start ramping up the ABV levels. But early on, it can be really difficult to get your palate used to cask strength bourbon. I still sometimes, if I haven't had anything to drink, they can burn me out. I'm not someone that gets jazzed up just because I see a bottle super high proof. And so there are some great value cask strength bourbons that I think are a great way to dip your toe into that kind of arena, start getting your palate used to it, but without breaking the bank. And so those would be Green River, which is tied in with Bardstown Bourbon. Green River has a great value lineup. All 3 of their core whiskeys, their wheated bourbon, their straight rye, and their cask strength are really good whiskeys for the price point and at a great value. Old Grandad, so we mentioned the Old Grandad Bonded. They also have Old Grandad 114. It's a low $30 bottle. And then Benchmark, which is Buffalo Trace, gets you into that Buffalo Trace flavor profile, the Stag flavor profile, just in barrels that aren't aged as long or aren't deemed to be as special. If you get a really good bottle, though, a Benchmark Full Proof can taste fantastic. So it's almost like getting a young Stag, or what they used to call Stag Junior, essentially. Those 3 brands are a great way to get into cask strength without blowing your budget. And then a step up from there, the last category we've got is going to be cask strength bourbon that's just a little bit higher, but still under that $50 mark, still a good value. The first one I'm going to say is the Maker's Mark cask strength. Maker's Mark, another legacy distillery. They make great stuff. I'm a big fan of what they do as well. Their cask strength is now age stated, 7 years old. And it's wheated, so it's got some unique flavor profiles to a lot of the other stuff you get out there. And it's typically under 40 bucks for a 7-year-old cask strength. Like, that's just really crazy and awesome. I've got a bottle of it and the 46 cask strength over there. And then another one is going to be Wild Turkey Rare Breed. This makes it on a lot of top lists for people around the world, whiskey fans. It's just what's really great about Wild Turkey whiskey is really encapsulated in this bottle. Flavor profile is great. There's definitely some complexity to it. It's a really nice pour, 116 proof this bottle, and 116.8. And again, Legacy Distillery gives you a chance to get something uncut from there. Just a really, and this is typically a $45 to $50 bottle. So it's just a great way to sneak in under that $50 mark with a cask strength whiskey from a Legacy Distillery. Hard to beat Rare Breed for the value. Really just a bottle that I think everybody should have back there in case you got an aficionado comes over and you want to show you got something nice for them to try. So guys, I hope you liked that video. If there's a great value whiskey that you're a big fan of or that you love that you think I should have mentioned, please bring it up in the comments. Would love to get your feedback on that. If you like what we're doing, please like the video. If you want to help out the channel, please subscribe. Until then, guys, drink responsibly, drink respectfully, but most of all, have fun doing it. Cheers.